Hello again, everybody. I am back with another video review of my two favorite aerial bots, Skydive and Air Raid. Just like with the arms, these guys have the same mold, but with some slightly different paint details and molded details, such as the head. But just like with the other two, the biggest differences are in the vehicle modes. The biggest differences in the robot modes are, like I said, mostly just the heads. Skydive has different guns than the other aerial bots. Actually, both of the legs have different guns. Both of the arm bots, they both have the same guns. They're symmetrical, but these two, they both get their own guns. I kind of like it for the individual robot modes, but I don't know how I feel about it when they're all combined up. Because Superion, when you get them all together, he's pretty asymmetrical. But for some reason, the guns for the arm aerial bots are symmetrical. It's a little weird to me, but honestly, I don't mind it that much. As with all of my other reviews, we're going to talk about the biblical accuracy of the characters. And it's a lot better. If you look at the aerial bots in the animation, just like with the other two, the entire jet is pretty much sitting on their back. And for these guys, most of the upper portion, the cockpit, the nose cone, the intakes, and the wings, they're all on the back. It's just that because of the way it has to transform, the rest of the jet kind of has to sit on the bottom here. And when they're in the robot modes, these fins, or I'm not sure what they're called, they have to rotate up. When I actually put them together into Superion, I like to keep them down. I think it makes them look slightly better, slightly cooler. But these got to be my favorite out of all of the limb bots, with the exception of maybe Silverbolt. Silverbolt I'm going to talk about on his own, but of the limb bots, these guys are probably my favorites, easily. Especially this guy. This dude, his colors, the black, the gray, the red, the orange face, his little helmet, right? Love it. Kind of has a little Lord Farquaad thing going on right there, if you look at his head for any amount of time. But I think he looks pretty good. He's my favorite. They're the most solid of the limb bots. They feel the best. They feel the densest, the heaviest, right? They feel the most solid. They just feel really, really nice in your hands. But that's kind of a thing with this whole line of Transformers. They all have a very solid feeling. I remember back in the days, or a long time ago, even some of the Masterpiece figures that I've handled, like the Masterpiece Beast Wars figures, I had Megatron, and he felt kind of what me and my friends like to call it, that bucket feeling. Like if you ever gotten a bucket from O'Reilly's or Home Depot, that really thin, wispy kind of plastic. It almost feels like it could crack in your hands. These new Age of the Primes, Legacy, they have a very dense, nice feeling to them. So that's something I really appreciate. I think everybody can appreciate. Even without diecast, they just have a nice weight to them. As far as articulation, they're basically identical. Because again, they have the same mold. And they're about what you would expect from a deluxe. They don't have opening hands, obviously. No double jointed elbows. You got a little bit of waist rotation, but no crunch. Unlike the arm aerial bots, they do not separate. They just collapse and they kind of fold up on the back of Superion's legs, which is biblically accurate to the cartoon. That's where they ended up. I know there are some people who wish they were closer to the Combiner Wars, where you could put them on the front. And you can if you finagle it, but mostly they're going to be on the back. But in the inverse of the arm aerial bots, these guys look the best in their robot modes. Their jets suffer slightly. They're still good jet formers, but they're not quite as seamless or streamlined as the arm aerial bots. Let's get these guys whipped into their jet modes. You can appreciate. I think the real strong point of all of the aerial bots is their deco, especially Skydive. He's my favorite. When you get him in his jet mode, well, even in his robot mode, his deco is pretty cool. The black, the red, the gray. This tone of gray on the plastic also matches the almost completely, almost perfectly, the gray on Superion. So I think it comes out looking pretty sharp, in my opinion. This, you cannot rotate. You kind of want to work it out about right here. And then if you try to twist it around, as far as I can tell, it has nubs. This, it's like a, what is this? The fin wants to get caught. So you have to kind of pull it out where the tabs are. You can pull it out all the way and then work it back into position. But it wants to fight you a little bit if you don't pull it out some. You do both of them the same way. Flip the legs up. When you flip the legs up, well, the feet and the shins up onto the hips, you get some nice afterburner details. It's a pretty nice touch. And then you kind of want to make sure it's all together. Snap it in. Make sure their feet are flush. The arms, they tab into the bottom of the wings. They also tab into the sides of the chest. Like I said, the shins, the feet tap up into the shins, and then you kind of slide the back portions of the legs over these two tabs. And you fold down his fins. Take his guns, which I guess is supposed to be missiles. And then if you don't want to whoosh him around, you can pull out his landing gear. It's in his chest. Be careful though. This part is painted. And you have to get your nail under it between this painted part and this painted part to get it out. So just be careful. That's probably about the only area. I mean, maybe you might chip the paint on his face a little bit in here, but I don't think there's anything that touches. So I think you should be good. I'd say that's about the only part you might mess the paint up on. And then we have him. He's pretty much exactly the same, so I'm going to whip through him pretty fast. He's almost exactly the same with some minor differences. Same locking tabs on the arms. Right about here. As with the head. I kind of wish the cockpit's open, but they don't. I can see why. If you can't make wrists swivel around, I can totally understand why you wouldn't have an opening cockpit. Maybe stick a little Diaclone figure in there. Who knows? Same thing. Kind of want to... It has to slide over this and over these. Probably be better if you put the feet together first. I don't know why I'm doing this so backwards right now. But if you're not stupid like me, it shouldn't take this long to fiddle with it. But it's in the vehicle modes where we see the biggest differences between these two aerial bots here. Almost forgot his blasters. Now, mine, for some reason, and this is I thought the only occurrence of, he also has landing gear right here. Just watch out for the white paint. You might want to move his feet out of the way. That'll make it easier to get to it. But the guns on mine, they really don't want to tap into place. Either on the wings, they'll stay, but they're kind of loose. I could probably see. And they don't really like to stay in his hands either. But they'll stay well enough. Not perfectly, but they'll stay well enough. Here we go. See, we lost one. Man down. Guess you could also put them back here. But these are the combiner joints. So I want to loosen those up over time. I gotta say, Air Raid looks pretty good in all black. He goes from being red and white on the bottom to pretty much all black on top. Pretty standard looking jet. He has two fins at the back. But you can see what I was talking about. with them having slightly more of an undercarriage, not looking as perfectly formed as the other aerial bots. But still, for a deluxe, this is not a bad jet. It fits together really solidly, even more so than the robot. You're feeling all of it. It just feels dense. Very, very dense, very quality. I really can't. I like the choices of paint that they used. Really, I don't feel like there's anything that could have been painted that wasn't at this price point. Seems pretty fair to me. You got a little bit of paint back here on the fins. But like I said, my favorite is Skydive. Man, there's something about lightning bolts and black and red that's just very man and boy coded. Like this is like 90s, 80s, just fun. Like something about the way it looks, it really does it for me. The blue fin with the yellow lightning bolt. The fact that he has his own unique guns that are pretty big and beefy looking. He just looks really nice. His air intakes are slightly different than on Air Raid. His are square, his are kind of sloped. He has one large fin, he has two slightly smaller fins. But their profile is pretty much the same. They're not like the other two where one of them had lower set wings. Well, I never noticed till now, but he actually has a nice little gray paint detail that's painted instead of just molded into plastic right here. In a nutshell, though, these guys make better bots. Their jet mode suffers a little bit, and you have an inverse with the other two aerial bots. But these are combiners, so you have to judge them as a package, in my opinion. You can judge them sort of fairly on their own, but remember, they do combine. So certain sacrifices have to be made for that, budget-wise, engineering-wise, to make them almost a triple changer. But I think all the aerial bots, I think they're good. I think they feel nice. They're painted really well. For the most part, they hold together really well. I think if you are feeling like you might want Superion, you cannot go wrong with the aerial bots. These are all really good. I was not convinced. I was not a believer. I saw, I'd never really seen Superion. I'm not a G1 kid. I'm a Beast Wars kid. And the first time I saw it, I thought he looked kind of stupid, but after Silverbolt came out and I got to get a better look at everything, it really came together for me. These guys, they look really nice when they're all together. They look like when you stand them all next to each other, they look really well. Go out and buy them. I'm in San Diego, sorry. I got mine at Toy Addicts. I think they're going to be getting some more soon. If you're out here, you can probably find these guys pretty easily. I did. But all right. Catch you guys later.